Major warning. Bitcoin June 2024 forecast is concerning. Good morning and good evening, crypto astronauts, depending on where you're tuning in from in this beautiful world, and welcome back to the Bitcoin and crypto paradise. If you're new here, analysis and run an astrology birth chart for Bitcoin and see if the astrology patterns correlate with the bull analysis. I'll give you my Bitcoin predictions and what I'm doing in this situation at the end of the video. Now, the astrology is intense for June, and this is a critical update, so I'll share everything, the solutions that I'm thinking at the end. Please subscribe as I put out these high-value videos for free every week, but none of this content is financial or investment advice. This content is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. All right, let's take a look at the astrology. This is the beautiful showcase of the planets right now, or actually on June 1st. And what we're going to see, we're going to have Mercury is in Taurus at this time with Uranus. And I don't know about you, but I think I'm feeling a lot of this Uranus energy as Mercury, around now, Mercury is coming closer and closer to Uranus. And I'm seeing a lot of crazy, unexpected, strange, emotional situations. We're dealing with a conflict in one of our businesses with one of the most difficult clients we have ever met in our entire life, who's being very rude. And anyways, so let me know in the comments below if you're experiencing anything similar, emotional outbursts, stubbornness, really putting our feet in, and other person, maybe conflicts. Now, we also have Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter when we head into June, Jupiter will have ingressed into Gemini from Taurus. Now, this happens exactly on May 25th. So this is very, very significant, as Jupiter has been in Taurus for the last 12 months approximately, and it's going to be in Gemini for another 12 months. Now, I'll share with you an amazing chart with the historical analysis on how Jupiter in Gemini has affected the markets historically. Super, super, super amazing data that I'll share with you towards later part of this video. What else? We also have, good news is that Jupiter is going to make a very positive trine with this planet all the way over here. Look at this little Pluto over here. Okay, Pluto wasn't discovered until, I believe, when was it, the 1700s? And it's this tiny little planet over there, but it actually makes a big, big effect on human psychology, on transformation, death and rebirth and sexuality, all of these things. Very, very, very powerful planet. It's the planet of power as well. And a lot of the elites have powerful Pluto placements in their birth chart. So Jupiter is trining Pluto, the planet of wealth. So that is very, very positive to start off June. Very good news, and there could be a nice run around that time in the markets. Now, we're already seeing a pretty nice run with crypto right now already, and that could be part of this Jupiter trine Pluto, because oftentimes we see the effects of these transits a couple weeks, 3 weeks before they occur, and even up to 2-3 weeks afterwards. Now, June 6th, we're actually going to have a new moon in Gemini, which is the same sign as that Jupiter is going to be in. Mercury is going to be heading into Gemini. So this is a very interesting new moon. I'm going to be talking more about the energies of this new moon that we're going to be getting on June 6th. Then we have Mars that's going to shift into Taurus. All right, so it's going to head through Aries, and it's going to shift into Taurus. Now, right when that happens, unfortunately, this is quite unfortunate, Mars, the planet of WAR, is going to be squaring Pluto. Now, that does not look very good for world events. Let's send our prayers to the Middle East. Let's pray that conflicts do not escalate. As Mars is going to be in the very stubborn sign of Taurus, squaring Pluto in the very stubborn sign, the fixed sign of Aquarius. So these are two fixed signs. Around June, for world events, for our individual lives, this is not a time to get into conflicts. Really try to dissipate whatever emotions are getting stirred up. And let's pray for the most positive outcomes in the world events. Now, then on June 21st, we do get a full moon in Capricorn, and I'll be talking a lot more about the energies of that. And then Neptune. Let's see, Neptune is over there. Neptune is way out there, and it's getting to it's in the 29th degree of Pisces. All right, this is the final degree of the 12th, the final sign in the zodiac. So there's a lot of themes in our lives and on the world stage around major endings. 29th degree, the anaretic degree, is the most intense degree. We could have, major endings in our life and subconsciously. So this is pretty intense of deception and illusions. So we do not want to get caught up in fantasies at this time. That's very significant. All right. So I'll be talking a lot more about that when I get into the full moon portion of this video. Now, the good news is that crypto is doing well in May so far. And around the full moon, check out my full moon May 23rd video, where we have some very good energy temporarily for crypto and potentially markets. Okay. That's good for now. Let's try to dive into the charts if my computer allows. Okay. I'm definitely going to be investing in a new computer this summer. Just a fun note there. Okay. So let's take a look at the weekly chart with Bitcoin here. Now we take a look at this trend line. We have pumped far beyond this trend line. So that's very good news on the weekly chart there. As you can see, and this is the weekly macro trends here. So we were starting to get a lower low, then we got a lower weekly low. Now we're heading up, and really good news is if we can hold this level and potentially start creating higher lows in the coming weeks heading into June would be very good news. Now, if we look closer, we look at the daily closes. This is looking very good so far in the short term. Is that I made this Fibonacci level from the all-time high to the low here in the previous couple months. And we have now headed above this 50% level, which means we're in a very strong position now as long as we continue to head up. And really good news is that 3 days we closed above the 50% level. Now, typically that can show a bullish trend. As you can see, on May 15th, we closed above this 50% level. And then even we headed down on May 16th, even below the 50%, but then we closed above it. And then the next day, the 17th, we got a nice pump there. Now, volume is still fairly low, so we need to keep our eye on that. That can be a good time to accumulate, but if we want to head off to the moon into new all-time highs, we definitely got to see a major spike in the volume with a nice green bar to be keeping our eyes on. I made a bunch of videos about the potential graveyard doji, which I'll have to switch to this other chart. And as you can, oh wait, this is the wrong chart there. Okay, I'll go to the 2-month. Is that you can see how in this bar right here, we headed way up. I'll switch to a cleaner chart. Yeah, we headed way up, and then potentially smart money was potentially selling all the way down here. And we closed around the same level that we opened with a red bar there. So that spells potential more pain to come in the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, so that's a bit concerning. Definitely some caution there. let's go to the Bitcoin astrology, as that's what we do on these videos. So let me know in the comments if you want to take a look at the Bitcoin astrology. Okay, here we go. So this is for the astrology lovers. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin astrology in a moment. Yet first, I'm going to look at the astrology for June. So like I was saying, we have Jupiter that is in Gemini. However, oh, actually, no, not however. The good news is that it's making a nice positive trine to Pluto, the planet of wealth. So that could be very positive potentially for markets. That's looking very good. Now we do have then Mercury is going to come into Gemini and also trine Pluto, with Mercury, the planet of markets, making a positive transit to the planet of wealth. That's also good news. Now, at the same time, Venus is conjunct the Sun. So Venus could be getting blocked by the Sun there. Venus combust. That's not super positive. But then Venus starts to pass the Sun, so that's good. Then on June 6th, we get the new moon in Gemini. And we can go specifically to that. And that's here. So obviously the moon is in Gemini. Now the caution is that it's squaring Saturn right here. And it's semi-square Pluto. So there's a lot of caution here. All right, this is a bit concerning. Typically on new moons, we can, not all the time, maybe 60% chance we can see a peak in the crypto markets. So typically we do see a dump after the new moon. So we could definitely see a dump after this new moon because of these squares to Saturn and Pluto. So typically the energies of this Saturn can represent hard lessons in reality, limitations, regulations. Could we start to see more crypto regulations? I sure hope not, but it's definitely possible this month. Now, semi-square to Pluto, this is the energy of wait for tension to subside before taking action. All right, there's a lot of emotional tension potentially with this new moon in our individual lives and world events. All right, now as we head forward, we then get Mars heading finally out of Aries, although Mars is very bullish in Aries potentially for markets. I'll show you some data to back that up. However, then Mars then squares Pluto, like I was saying earlier. Now Mars is in a fixed sign of Taurus, Pluto's in the fixed sign of Aquarius. That spells some potential trouble, guys. So got to be careful with this one, and let's pray that there's that things remain peaceful in the Middle East, and it's not a good time to let emotions get the best of us. So definitely a lot of caution there again. Now, as we head later into the month, we will look at the full moon really quick. And what we see, this full moon in Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of responsibility and lessons in reality and hard work. Now, one of the issues here is that the full moon Capricorn is squaring Neptune at 29 degrees, this planet right here. Now, this is the anaretic degree, and so a lot of this energy is about not getting lost in fantasies or wishful thinking, all right, because that's what Neptune brings. So if there's people that are saying we're going to the moon, it's probably not going to happen. Or if the masses are saying we're going back down to 30K or something Bitcoin, that's probably not going to happen either. So this is not a time to follow the crowd. In fact, it's never a time to follow the crowd, in my opinion. But especially on this full moon. Now, this is all about self-responsibility, putting in the hard work, hard lessons in reality, as Capricorn represents. Okay. Now, let's dive back into the charts. And I also have a special announcement. You guys have probably heard, if you've already been watching this channel, I've been talking a lot about the crypto retreat that is happening September 7th through the 14th, September 14th. Now, I do have a very, very special coupon code. And last chance that you will never see this deal again. But if you click the link below and you look at the checkout page, you look at all the information for this retreat, for 7 days, we're going to be hanging out in the blissful Bali. We're going to have trainings on crypto strategy, mapping out our crypto strategy for the next year in this bull run, map out our profit-taking strategy, and we're also in crypto. We're going to have a workshop in breathwork, another workshop in human design, astrology, and gene keys. It's going to be absolutely life-changing and incredible. I can't emphasize enough, guys, how amazing this retreat's going to be. It's going to change your life, I promise. Okay? Now, I'm giving an amazing deal. You're never going to see this deal again after this week. So for 7 days until May 23rd, it's coming up very soon. You can check out with the coupon code May24. Just read the description below. And once you get on the checkout page, type in May24. You're going to get $150 savings. And you're going to get a bonus half-day spa package, which is a $600 value I'm going to give to you for free. I'm going to treat you to a half-day spa package because I want to get a couple more people into this retreat because it's going to change your life. Okay, so definitely check that out. This is your last chance. Final announcement for that. Okay, guys? Okay, now that we got that behind us, let's dive into specifically the Bitcoin astrology. And by the way, I am going to get a bonus call for all the people who sign up for the Bali retreat, where we're going to go into much, much more detail on all of the astrology this summer, month by month, week by week, and all the way through this year, month by month, so you can prepare a rock solid crypto and profit-taking strategy that is going to benefit your wealth and change your life for the better. It's going to help you make your dreams come true. All right? Because let's use our wealth for the good to help us live better lives. All right. So if we look specifically at the Bitcoin astrology for this month, I'm giving you guys the goods. Please like and share this video so we can get this out to more people. As you know, or you may not know, that the YouTube algorithms only spread this information to more people if there are a lot of likes on the video and subscribes and comments. So please, guys, help me by interacting with this video, clicking the like button, subscribing, so that we can get this information out to more people. Now, this is super, super huge caution here, guys, because we have Saturn conjuncting Uranus. I have not seen a negative transit like this for a long time. Since we had the Silicon Valley Bank collapse when Saturn conjuncted the Bitcoin Venus. Okay, guys? So we could even get more bank collapses this summer happening around June 18th or even July 11th, guys. Okay? Because Saturn is the planet of restriction, hard lessons in reality, banking institutions, and it's going right over Uranus, which is the planet of crypto and technology. All right, so we could see a black swan event. We could see major dumps, particularly in June, maybe even July. Okay, and I'll share more about my predictions for what I see could happen around this June 18th. This is a lot of caution, big warning there, guys. All right, so I'll be talking more about that soon. Good news is that right on the new moon, we have this very positive Jupiter trining the Bitcoin Mercury. That is quite positive, so we could get a pump there around that new moon if we are lucky. If all goes well, that's the best case scenario. Certainly possible for Bitcoin there. That's looking good. Then we do get some squares. Those are a bit negative right after the new moon. We could get a dump after the new moon. Certainly possible. But then we also get Jupiter sextile the Bitcoin moon. That's positive. And then towards the end of the month, when we get the full moon, we are getting a bit of a negative aspect there. We're getting Venus square the Bitcoin moon, and then Venus opposite the Bitcoin Mars. Not the greatest astrology, so this could cause some trouble with the Bitcoin price action around June 21st. All right. So hope that explains itself. Now let's look at some charts that I wanted to show you guys let's take a look right now. I'm giving you guys some really good information. I'm going to be sharing this with my private group this summer, but let me show you real quick because I'm just a nice guy and maybe I shouldn't be so nice all the time. But let's take a look at this. All right, we're getting some weird computer stuff happening now. So this is the long-term holder supply. As you can see in the 2018 or 2017 bull run, we got major selling with the long-term holders of Bitcoin at the peak. All right. And then we got major buying, peak buying action in the 2019 lows. And then we got another, when Bitcoin went off a huge bull run in 2021, we saw major selling by Bitcoin long-term holders. And then as we headed down in the 2022 bear market, they continually started to buy. But the concern is that they have been selling. Ever since really the ETF launch, they've been selling, guys. All right, so that's important information there to be aware of. Just wanted to show that to y'all. And if I can pull this up, okay. This is the Bitcoin bull market correction drawdowns. Now, as we can see, we've been getting drawdowns the past year that are fairly significant around September of last year from my memory, as well as right after the Bitcoin ETF sell-off. And then we're getting it very recently as well. Historically, when we get those sell-offs, it looks like, from my interpretation, it looks like these are actually pretty good buying opportunities. All right, because it looks like those are the biggest corrections if we look through all of this data. When they get the biggest spikes down, those look like quite good buying opportunities. So, not financial advice, but just looking at the charts here, guys, for informational purposes. Okay, let's look at... Well, it looks like my computer is not being very friendly with us. So, but we're going to do what we can. So we can dive into the predictions since this has been a pretty long video already. Predictions are that Saturn conjunct the Bitcoin Uranus could bring crypto regulations. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but Saturn can bring that. It can also bring bank collapses like it did with the Silicon Valley bank collapse in 2022, or themes of control versus freedom. And of course, Saturn can definitely bring dumps in the markets, particularly with Bitcoin here, as we're talking about the Bitcoin astrology specifically. Also, so if the macro goes on a run, if the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones goes on the run with Jupiter trine Pluto on June 2nd, Bitcoin and altcoins obviously could make a higher low in June. And I'd say that's most likely the case. We could dump, but hopefully that's a higher low. Maybe around the low 60s, or it might even tap the 59 level. We will see. Or in the best bullish case, maybe it just bounces off of 65, something like that. It's certainly possible. But in the worst case scenario, in like a black swan event, we could definitely head down to like around 50K. Worst case, around like 49K, 48K potentially. So that's a possibility to be aware of. If the macro markets dump, then of course, crypto is going to dump, and it could be a slow summer with potential sideways action. For me, now to tell you what I'm doing based on all of this information, for me, I'm planning to take about 20% altcoin profits at the end of May and buy back in during potential June lows. Unless, and this is a big unless Ethereum and Solana hit new all-time highs, potentially towards the end of May. If that happens, I'm definitely not going to sell 20%. I'll probably hold on to it. I'll have to tune in with that. But that would be a very, very bullish scenario. So I would have to reevaluate and probably maybe just take like 5% profits, something like that. Or I might just hold on to it. So once again, it's not financial advice. That's just what I'm thinking. Thanks so much for tuning in. Definitely check out the links below for your last final opportunity to get the greatest deal on this Bali retreat. After that, the prices are definitely going to go up. You're never going to see the prices at this level again. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for subscribing and liking this video and commenting below on what your thoughts are for the month of June for Bitcoin. All right. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.